June 2022, 52. We are starting this one. And this is the main theme of this question number one. Think, plan, and organize. Now look at this, the marks allocation. Whenever you are solving this paper, you need to define the problem. There are 2 marks for it. Methods of data collection. Method of data collection actually means the procedure. Method of analysis, 3 marks. Additional setting. Now this is June 22, 54. June 22, paper 52. Two parallel cylindrical conductors each have a small cross-sectional area A. A thin metal bar connects the two conductors as shown. Look at this screen. The two metal conductors are there. The two metal conductors are there. And look at this whole diagram. These are two cylindrical conductors, long one. And and another rod is placed on it. So you can see from the screen, if you couldn't get the paper, no problem, but you can look from the screen. In paper 5, question number 1, you have to read the question at least twice or thrice, because if you started with a wrong approach, then it will be a big problem. Two parallel cylindrical conductors each have a small cross-sectional area. A thin metal bar connects the two conductor as shown. Now look at this. The metal bar has a square cross section with sides of length y. For each conductor, the distance between its end C and the center of the metal bar is capital L. The distance between the centers of the conductor is X. The ends C are connected to a power supply and the current I in the conductor is measured. It is suggested that I is related to L by the equation. Look at this equation. E upon I is equal to 2PL upon A plus QX upon Y square, where capital E is the electromotive force of the power supply and P and Q are constant. Plan a laboratory experiment to test the relation between I and L. Draw a diagram showing the arrangement of your equipment. Explain how the results could be used to determine. Now you have to carefully see, plan a laboratory experiment to test the relation between I and L. Uh, could you open the paper?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. Okay. So it's important to read the question twice. So you have to read it again. This is a metal bar. The diagram needs good understanding. The most important sentence is the plan a laboratory experiment to test the relation between I and L. I and L. Actually, this is a formal thing. These bullets are always there. Procedure to be followed, the measurements to be taken, control of variable, analysis of the data, any safety precautions to be taken. Now, variables. Defining the problem, so I can change the value of current I can change the value of L. Now I have to see what is L. This L, look at the screen. This is the distance from the position C to the square rod. This is L. So I can change the L. How current is induced in this circuit? Actually, we are providing the current. So this is actually a type of electromagnetism. So what I decide that I will change the length and I will observe the current in the dependent case. Keep capital E. What is capital E? Capital E is actually the EMF. Okay. Now give the heading variables, side heading. Variables. Give a side heading. Now look at the variables. You can update me once you have copied it.
Done, sir.
Now, procedure. Now here we have to think the whole plan, method of data collection. Use a ruler to measure L and X. This is the most important part of this question. Now I have to remember this equation. Look at this equation. My whole planning should be orbiting this equation position, because I have to remember that I need to make the working, the procedure, I need to make the procedure to evaluate or manage this whole equation. Now, this is the plan. Now, in this equation, let us recall what are the factors. E stands for EMF. I stands for current. P and Q are constant. P is a constant. Q is a constant. Now, what is capital A? If I go back and I see what is capital A, X, Y, and L. These are the lengths, X, Y, and A. This is a length. Hassan, can you hear me?
जी सर।
So this
सर ये
L,
कौन सा पेपर है?
this is Hassan, June 2022. Look, this is the paper. The small cross-sectional area A. look at this little area, capital A. You have to remember that selection of the instrument like vernier caliper, any other instrument depends upon the size. So now this is the plan. Uh, Hassan, copy the variables, copy the heading and copy the variables. Can you read the question paper quickly? Can you open this paper in your own past paper record? Son, can you hear me?
Sir, I'm opening the past paper right now.
Hmm? Acha. But do you have something to write on with you?
I have the notebook, sir.
You can write. Acha. This is just copy down the year. That will be fine. So we are doing the procedure of this question, and so now we are discussing the variables in this one. In this question, in this question, they're talking about a rod on two metal rods, a thick rod on two metal rods. This is the question. This is the starting of the question. Look, this is the start of the question. So this is a metal rod and the cross-sectional area, the length. We want to apply this formula E upon L, 2PL upon A plus QX upon Y square. The variables are L is the independent variable, I is the dependent variable. Procedure, we are thinking over this formula. And now we are using a ruler, use a ruler R to measure L and X. So we need to measure very accurately. Now look at this. How we measure the length X. We mark little separation, small r, and we measure the rule. We use the ruler to measure small a. A plus diameter will be the value of X. I'm taking center to center. I'm taking the length center to center, which is very important. I have to take the length from the center to center position. Okay, so now look, meter rule is used to measure L and X. Now look at this dimension B. I will use the ruler to measure B. Look at the Y upon 2, which is the little part. I will separately measure it and I will add to find the length L. It's very important to understand why I am taking this Y upon 2. Actually, my plan is to add the two quantities to make a final quantity. Look at this working. Okay, so this will be the measurement plan. How I can measure the value of y? Y is very small. So I will use a micrometer and then I can use the formula area is equal to pi d square upon 4. Look at this, measure cross-sectional area A. We can use a vernier caliper or micrometer to find the diameter. Look at the formula pi d square upon 4. This is how we can measure the cross-sectional area. Now, how we can measure the EMF? EMF can be measured by a sensitive voltmeter and switch off the circuit and measure the voltage. If you switch off the circuit and you measure the voltage, it will be EMF. Remember, EMF is the maximum voltage a circuit can produce. It is the maximum voltage which a circuit can produce, a power source. Now look at the working diagram. I have used crocodile clips. I have attached a voltmeter. These are the two rods. I am holding them by wooden blocks, and my plan is to transfer the current through the circuit. Remember that when you are doing this question, you have to supply current through this network of two rods. So this is the concept. Now you people have to copy this diagram. This circuit diagram, I'm using this circuit diagram from the question. Actually, part of the diagram is given in the question. My target is to transfer the current and I will note down the current. Actually, current will change due to change in resistance. I will alter the value of L. I will alter the value of L and I will record the current. I will record the voltage. I have to see how current will change when the value of capital L is changed. Let me know once you have copied it, please update me. Okay, Hassan, let me know if you have copied it. Once you have copied it, Yes, Hassan, can you hear me?
I'm done, sir.
Acha, now control of variable. This is a formal type of entry. Control of variable means what you will change connected. It's like a variable discussion, but it's a formality to be there because in the bullets he mentioned it. So I will alter the length and I will measure the value of I. Let us discuss the procedure. You will start orally. I'm telling, no need to write because the time is not there. Look how you will perform this experiment. You will start saying that the arrange the apparatus as shown. Make sure that the apparatus is fixed. It doesn't move because the rods can slide over. So wooden blocks are there to hold, to stop any motion. Connect the ammeter in series, voltmeter in parallel. Make sure the connections are tight and dry. No moisture or water level is moisture or water is there. Now use a vernier caliper. Use a vernier caliper to determine the value of y. Use a meter rule to determine the value of x. This all we have discussed already. Then record the value of capital L using a meter rule and find the diameter. Find the diameter by using the vernier caliper and then use area is equal to pi d square upon 4. Now switch on the circuit. Switch on the circuit. The current will flow. The current will flow and you will record the value of current in the circuit. You will record the value of current in the circuit. Okay. Then switch off the circuit. Allow the circuit to cool down. Use electrical insulation gloves to handle the apparatus because there would be a high amount of current here. Then switch off the circuit. Allow the circuit to cool. Uh, Change the value of capital L by moving the square rod. Take a new length, repeat the procedure, take a new length again, repeat the procedure. In this way, take number of readings and record them in a table. Now, control of variables. Vary capital L and measure I. Now, you have to look at this. You have to copy this. Now, analysis. What is analysis? Analysis means you have to arrange the equation in linear law form. Remember, who is the dependent variable and who is the independent variable. Current is the dependent and capital L is the independent variable. So I'm going to change this component here and I will write here independent variable. Acha, independent variable has to come over x-axis. This is my dependent variable. dependent variable and it has to come over y. Now look at this. I have rearranged it and I keep the I on the left side because I have to make the y coordinate, and I have drawn it into y is equal to mx plus c. In the actual paper, you should solve this part in partition. So 3 lines should be maximum. So you have to copy this. Now look at this. This is linear law derivation. Please copy it. And once you copy, let me know. Now look at this working. Y is equal to 1 upon I, x is equal to L. Now look at the gradient. Gradient is 2p upon EA. Gradient is always a comparison. C, what C stands for? C stands for y-intercept. Draw a graph of 1 upon I against L. Now, this is a patent sentence to write that relationship is valid if the graph is a straight line not passing through origin. How I know it's not passing through origin? Because C is not 0. Now, examiner had asked to find P and Q. So I have to mention the value for P from the top and value of Q. So you have to copy this also. Now, this is the next step. Now, look at the precautions. What are the possible precautions? Whenever you want to cover the precaution, you should go over the apparatus. Look at the apparatus. You have to mention that's as I mentioned earlier. Circuit should be the connection should be tight. There should not be any moisture. Insulation gloves. Move the square rod slowly, allow the circuit to cool, switch it off and allow it to cool. Smart points he will automatically cover. So looking at this circuit, you people can also contribute for any precaution you can give.
Sir, avoid touching the metal bars, the metal bar when the circuit's on.
हाँ ठीक है, this is also fine. अच्छा, this class is recorded, so if you miss a part of it, you can view it later also. Smart points are always the included point. There should not be any separate heading. So here, this is coming from the marking scheme. Majority we have covered. Do not touch the heat resist. Do not touch the metal rod. Use a protective resistance system. Switch off when not. Keep area and Y constant. Keep X constant. They are given in the marking scheme, so you can go over it again. This was June 22, paper 51. Now, remember this point that whenever you are doing this question, you have to mention some some important precautions. There are two types of precautions, accuracy precaution and safety precaution. So this main idea was to move the rod and alter the value of L. So we are done with this question. We are done with the class today, and we will continue inshallah in our next class. Allah Hafiz.